The prelim final is in the books, Stars, and the showies are in a grand final. The Showtime Swans have made it to the big dance, Stars.
Jeff, they absolutely mopped the floor with Port Adelaide, and we just watched one of the all-time prelims between the Cats and the Zoo Cats. The Lions are through to a grand final, Jeff. I can't believe it. The Swans, what a performance.
Make sure you listen to the Sunday Roast, the show that we celebrate the winners, roast the losers, and give you all the best odds of the bets you wish you were on but weren't. Come the Bloods next week.
Hell of a show. Give it a listen, like, share. We've only got one more to go, Jeff. Hopefully next week the showies are winning and we're reviewing a Swans grand final
I can't
victory.
think about that yet. I just can't think about it. Welcome back to the prelim final weekend Sunday Roast, the show that celebrates the winners and roasts the losers, the show that gives you all the best odds of the weekend on the bet you might have been on, might not have. Joining me as always, Darcy Ballard Dobe. How are you, brother?
Jeff, I am good. What a weekend, especially for yourself. Gone up to Sydney. You've had the full tour, the Harbour Bridge, Bondi. And then obviously you get to watch the Showtime Swans. You come straight back. We go to the pub yesterday and we think, because Friday night was a bit of a blowout, we're like, we're due a good prelim. Everyone just felt that if one game was a blowout, we're due a good prelim. And last night's game was unbelievable. Like, I really wish we had enough time to rewatch even just the highlights before we did this. But by the time we go through the stats and go through the summary, we'll remember there is so many moments. Guys have started hot. Guys go missing. Heaps of goals. It was an arm wrestle at the start. It was an unbelievable weekend. But kick us back, Jev. Friday night. Talk us through what you and Morgs got up to.
The Showtime Swans are in the grand final, Das. I saw this coming after we beat the D's in round 0, opening round. I knew this was coming. We've made the grand final. I'll get to my full weekend, but maybe at the end of the pod, what's been going on, because there's a fucking heap going on. But let's get to this game. So Showtime Swans win. Jace Burgoyne kicks the first. I don't know what I was paying, and I was worried. Port Adelaide got that free kick at the first centre bounce, and they got that downfield free kick first. I'm like, not tonight, umpires, please.
You weren't nervous.
But it just showed me how important top two win the first final, a home prelim the week off is. The Swans were full of juice, so much energy in their legs. They looked fast, they looked fit, they looked ready. They were just on fire. You could just see it out in the ground. I had amazing seats at the SCG. I was right in front of Isaac Heeney where he kicked that left foot snap, took that mark on Jace Burgoyne and just laughed on him about row 10 or something. And just watching the game, they were just all so sharp on. They weathered a little bit of a storm at the start. Port Adelaide did come to play, but you knew they would have known they cannot go with the Swans for 4 quarters. Just stay with them. Don't let it go to 70-0 like it did at Adelaide over that time. Stay with them, weather the storm, and we were just going to get them, and we did. And we were just too good. What did you see, Das?
Well, going off that, because obviously Port had won the last 8. 6 out of those 8, I believe, were in Port Adelaide. And then last time you guys, with that big blowout, you guys had already locked up top spot. They got a jump and you guys really didn't have to push it. If most of those games at the SCG, I think it's a completely different story. But as you said, the speed on the ball in which you guys played with was incredible. There was a stage in the second quarter, I think it was 24 marks in a row that you guys had. You guys just chip ball, up the wing, and they couldn't go with you. I said, Isaac Heeney, when he turned around and he looked and he had arm on and he looked and it was Jace Burgoyne, he literally started laughing and just calling it in. I haven't seen anyone disrespect a player since Brendan Favola kicked 15 on Harry O'Brien in 2 weeks, Jeb. It was unbelievable. As you said, it was legit like LeBron calling for an ISO ball.
Yeah.
Like he just called, he's just like, bring it in. Like, put it on the deck or just put it on my head. I'm going to beat him. I'm too strong for him. So you had that. But I was interested to ask your opinion on when you were watching the Swans from defense. I'm not sure if we have many rugby union fans here, but they always just try and take territory. So whether there's not much happening, they just kick it long, try and get the numbers down, and then just try and make it as much ground as they can. The Swans in defense almost felt like if the pressure was on, 1-2 handballs, then they kick it high and long. As the ball comes out, you then watch more Swans coming to defense, and then it looks like that they're almost ready for another one to come in.
Yeah.
So obviously Port Adelaide get the ball back, then kick it back into defense. Then the Swans have all the numbers, and then they load off back line. So it's weird. It's almost like boys, it's like a 3-on-5 here. Let's just get it out. Numbers come back. Then you set up your actual defense, and then you run with that as a wave. It was actually so smart and really interesting to watch. I noticed it 3 or 4 times. But in clearance, you guys obviously got second hands to the footy. Jordan Sweet looks like the biggest player I've ever seen in my life.
He's a brick shit house.
How wide is he? So they were getting their hands on it, but they couldn't, as you said, Jeff, they just couldn't go with you. I think Stenny in our group chat said, how cheeks are the Swans bigs? And then they all just came to the party. Amati, McDonald, McLean, they all started kicking a few, so that was pretty funny.
Yeah, you got when you watch the Swans, you got to watch it a little differently. Whereas, because everyone can bag Amati, McDonald, and McLean, it's fine. But the 3 best forwards in the forward line are Papley, Parker, and Hayward, and it's all about Amati, McDonald, McLean, like setting up the ground, like they're on the wing or they're deep forward and they're just creating contests. Papley goes to work, Parker goes to work, Hayward goes to work, and they're just options for us, but they're not like, you can't expect them to be bloody Jeremy Cameron or something or Charlie Curnow. They're not like powerful goal-kicking forwards. They're in a way, they're role players.
100%.
But when they're playing their role well, sometimes they have really good games because other teams are worried about what's out the back. So you watch Amati and McDonald, they just hit up all day. And if their defender slouches off thinking the Swans are going to kick long, we just kick it to them and we just keep hitting them. And then all of a sudden, you're worried about Papley and you're worried about other blokes. And Marty's wide open in the forward line. He's our full forward. He shouldn't be. So you think they're the 4th, 5th, and 6th best player in the forward line, but they're got size about them, so they're good to kick to. They all compete. You never question their competitiveness and stuff like you do with other guys. So they just do it a bit different. Papley's the A grader in the forward line, and it's all about stopping him. But if you put too much work into him and Aliir starts sagging off, so then Luke Parker as you said, Luke Parker went out the back shoulder of Aliir, made him accountable. Papley's the most dangerous. Now all of a sudden, McDonald and Marty are fighting all this space. So yeah, it's so impressive what they do. And then next week, all 3 of them might have shockers, but Parker, Hayward, and Papley might kick 3, 4 each sort of thing and light the grand final shreds. So I bet on Parker and Hayward and Papley to kick 2 each, but it ended up being McLean, Amati kicking 3, Papley kicked his 3, and McDonald kicked his 2. So like it's how you want it. It's what the defense gives them.
Well, a few people will with like, geez, Parker didn't play well. He only had 8 touches. I'm like, well, I don't think he watched the game because Aliir took 3 or 4 intercept marks at the start and then just played, as you said, that defensive role. And I thought he played so well. It's like that, like the Castagna role. All his job was at Richmond is bring the ball to ground. When the ball comes in, just bring it to dirt. Like just put in a fist, like do whatever you have to. But I absolutely love Tom Papley. So when we spoke to Will Schofield, he said there's too many nice players in the AFL. Everyone wants to be your mate. He said whenever he played on Jeremy Cameron, he would just like, Jez would like to talk to you. And he's like, nah, you just got to get into him. He's like, I'm here to do my fucking job. And that's exactly what Tom Papley does. Like, he's not there to make friends. If he kicks a goal, he gets under the skin of someone. And I could not love it anymore. I could not love it. Obviously, you have to have a bit of footy skill about you to be able to get into players. But what he did, like even just that first goal in the first quarter, I'm sure, what was the crowd's reaction? It sounded like he was going nuts. He went straight to Willie. They love it. You were sitting near his brother, yeah? Wasn't his brother just loving it?
Some bloke came and sat next to me and I'm like to Morgs, that is Tom Papley's brother. They looked identical. He was just even maybe a little shorter and a little younger looking in all Papley's mates. And when he kicked goals, they didn't go off their head. They just looked at each other like, come on. They wanted to fire up as well. They nearly started jumping, punching each other. Oh, it was just it was an amazing night. I've never, first time going to the SCG.
Yeah.
People always say to me like, why have you never been to the SCG? I've always played local footy, so I've never had time to just duck off to the SCG sort of thing. I'm always in Melbourne playing local footy, so now that that's done, I had time, I went, and it is amazing. And it's the first time I've ever sat in a Swans crowd, like 50,000 Swans supporters. It was unbelievable. We're all cheering the same thing. Usually I'm going against the crowd. I'm sick of how other crowds are complaining about umpires. And it was just an amazing night to us.
So before we get on to a little bit more praising, which is what we do, we'll get into Heeney in a minute, but I feel as part of the show, Jeff, we have to get into a little bit of a roast. So it really hurt me to watch this, but Travis Boak had one of the all-time shockers, Jeff. I absolutely love Boakey. I just think he's an absolute warhorse. Strings out, never tucks him in, strings out. He had 3 or 4 bad turnovers. He looked slow. He just, Jeff, you must have loved him out there. You're like, he would have been your favourite player the other night. Either him or Charlie Dixon. He was practically useless until that third quarter, until they put him in the ruck. Thought they were going to sub him out. And then he actually competed a little bit in the third quarter. I will give him that. But it's just, you can't carry him in that side.
Yeah.
He has to be done.
And
Obviously,
Willie Rioli, so like,
was out.
we all praise Willie Rioli's talent and stuff, and he's unbelievable. When Joey said to us, like, he plays full forward for Port because he just can't run. And so he doesn't leave the 50. And if you get into him one-on-one, he's super dangerous, super smart around goal, all that. But you can't carry Willie Rioli and Charlie Dixon in the same forward line. They just can't run. Radaglia was average. Darcy Byrne-Jones probably had his first shocker. Jackson Mead is just a player. They just, as soon as they picked Charlie Dixon to play, I knew we were going to win, basically.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and then
you're not putting the right talent on the park, enough players on the park, unfortunately.
No, and then Narkle, he's played, 5 or 6 games this year, and he's looked so fumbly every time. Isn't it amazing when the step up, when they come in, how much, they just lose a step. They're just that little bit slower. They can't get that handball off. They're always getting caught. Brandon Zerk-Thatcher looked like he was on a treadmill, Jeff. A treadmill. Whether he's underdone, but the amount of times the ball just came into one of the tools, because they looked like they just kept swapping over. He wasn't on someone the whole time.
Yep.
But when the ball came in, that was the matchup.
Yep.
So, Francis, what did Narkle have there? 7, Byrne-Jones, 6, no impact. What is Lockie Jones?
I see. I don't hate him. I don't love him.
Big,
but
he's fast.
He's a brick shithouse. He's only 22.
But does he impact?
Yeah. I don't know if he's got that super classy offensive game. He's like a battler, scrapper, tough and stuff. I don't know. I would like him in my side. He's a competitor, but yeah, he needs to, I don't know what his one wood is. What does he hang his hat on? Is the competitiveness and his size where he can sort of play on a lot of different positions. Well, sort of like Braden Maynard. He's got a bit of Braden Maynard about him, but probably not good enough yet.
You know who was awesome though for Port? Willem Drew, Morgs. Yeah. His first half, he was the only one that was clean, trying to get the ball moving. The fact that Butters started on the bench, you've just started the game, he's ready to go, put him on. And then after halftime, you put him on the bench for 5 minutes. Yeah. I don't understand that coaching. Just put all your chips in the middle of the table.
Especially after halftime. They had to kick the first 3 after halftime to give themselves a chance, sort of thing. Yeah, so at the start of the game, at the game, you can't see everything going on and you don't see what the cameras are showing. So I saw James Jordan was on Connor Rosie. I'm like, oh, here we go. They've chosen to go Connor Rosie. And I knew Rowbottom would sort of stand on Horn Francis a bit.
Yeah.
And then I noticed Butters just wasn't on the field. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? He started on the bench again. And then as soon as he got on, they left Connor Rosie and they went to Butters. And yeah, they were just, you slow one of those two down. Willem Drew's a good player. I really like Willem Drew, but he's a role player that makes A graders even better, sort of thing. He makes them superstars. And Connor Rosie, he kicked a couple of goals and he did some nice things. What does he need to do in the off-season, Das? He just doesn't feel like the captain of the club, does he?
No, he doesn't.
A lot of people the way Zach Butters plays, or the power Horn Francis plays with some, maybe not Horn Francis' attitude, but just Zach Butters feels like the captain of that club to me.
Yeah.
And then
on the weekend though, that felt like the first time that Rosie was actually using his legs. He looked like he was running away from some stoppages. I'm like, fuck, yes. He's actually looking really quick tonight. He's moving. He's trying to get the ball rolling. I'd love to know to the extent of how injured he's actually really been this year, how much he's had to push on. But yeah, I actually thought he was okay. I thought he was really trying to make something happen because they were so stagnant. All they were doing was just bombing it in long.
Yeah.
So in the third quarter where you guys kicked away, they had the same amount. I think they had one more inside 50.
Yeah, yeah.
which was like they just go clearance, bomb it in. You guys would intercept, reload, and just so methodically coming up the field. It's like, all right, who are we going to come? Is Papley spitting out? Hayward out the back? Is Amati coming through? Who's checking for McLean? Like it was champagne football, and the crowd knew it.
There's a couple of things about the Swans that really annoyed me, and I was saying them to Morgs on the game. Port Adelaide went end-to-end goals a couple of times, just like slingshot goals. And it was times like this is just local footy 101. Logan McDonald was having the set shot. The one before he went off with his sore ankle, he was having a set shot. He took his full 30 seconds. So we're in our zone, and it's sort of like just push your zone back 15 meters and protect the corridor and the wing of the ground and have your zone started about 40 meters out. Let him chip into the pocket sort of thing. He missed the goal, and I just watched it. The zone was like too close to the goals, and they just went end-to-end, chip through the zone straight away because teams practice going end-to-end, and this in training, like we're down by 2 points with 2 minutes, go for it. And it's just like he had his full 30. Surely the message went out, just everyone come back a little bit. All we're doing is stopping them from scoring now. We don't have to worry about kicking goals. Just stop them from scoring. And they just, they sliced and diced. It's like 3 times from our forward pocket. They just went goal, end-to-end goals. I'm like, we just need to be a bit on top of that. That's just, one of those things. But, Das, let's talk about Isaac Heeney.
Yep.
He is having an all-time final series. And I think, so job's 50% done now. The next 50% is winning the flag and putting your name up for Norm Smith. But right now he's having the best individual season since Dustin Martin 2017.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with Jeff.
He's just had 30-3 in his first final, 24-2 in his second final. You go through his whole season again, it's unbelievable. He's going to poll amazing on Brownlow night. I'm just so excited. I'm going to wait till next weekend to compare the 2 seasons because it's just unbelievable what he's been doing.
Yeah, like he's had so many games. And look, he started so hot. And as everyone said, like Kingy was massive on it. I don't know if he can carry this for the full season. It's his first full season as a prime midfielder.
Yeah.
But he sort of had to move around a little bit throughout the middle. And then obviously the back end of the year, like that's the role is it's like, boys, we've got it done. Let's just get ourselves primed. And that first final against the Giants was unbelievable. He started it on Friday night. He went back with the flight early, took the mark in the half back line. Yeah. And then he wanted every time, looked in corridor, hit a short one. Next time he marked it again, looked in board, went again, and was just running. Kingy showed those running patterns that he did last week against the Giants when no one checked him. Were you trying to watch them as well? Was he running real heavily corridor? Because towards the end, I know how many goals he ended up kicking? 2. He looked like he could have kicked about 3 or 4. Same thing. He was so dangerous. He was thereabouts, in the mix all the time.
And just being on ground level, the way he leaps at the footy, he just pops out of the air like he pops out of a fucking sprinkler and just dukes it. It's just amazing to watch. I've been saying he's one of the most talented, just raw athletes I've ever seen play AFL. In terms of his height, his build, how tough he is, clean, skillful, can jump. He's just such a like Russell Westbrook, that natural raw athlete talent. It just reminds me of him so much. I was about to say, watching Geelong last night, I'm sort of like, if Geelong win, I think Mark Blitzarves is the only player out of these 2 teams that can really go with him next week. Really, because Blitzarves is taller than him, can run with him, can probably out-wrestle him, and could defend him when he goes forward. I'm like, Blitzarves is low-key the perfect matchup for Heeney. He's the only one. And then when Geelong lost and it's the Lions, I'm like, righto, Jared Berry.
That's a good matchup.
Josh Dunkley.
Has to be Berry.
Come have a crack, boys, but have fun when you're 1 out in the 50 against him and all this stuff. So I cannot wait for that. Yeah, he's in rare. Had a little sprinkle on him last night for Norm Smith. Got 5-1 last night. I tried to multi him Norm Smith into Swans win. You couldn't do it. It really annoyed me.
Oh, they're so weak.
It really annoyed me.
We'll quickly touch on Warner had another awesome game. Just did his thing. I was going to message. I was like, as soon as Warner kick one and Heeney kick one, I'm like, where's Goulden? He's popping up.
Yeah.
When one gets one, they're usually all 3. So I was looking for that, but he just did his role. Ollie Florin had a pretty good game as well, Jeff. He almost missed, or he missed 2 shots on goal. I thought he was going to go on with it. Yeah, you think you guys go in unchanged?
Yeah, hopefully Logan just has a nice week on the ankle. He'll be in ice baths, the beach all week. He'll get jabbed next week. He's just got a rolled ankle. Now that we're not playing Geelong and we're not playing on Jeremy Cameron, if Callum Mills gets up, is it just, do you reckon Robbie Fox just knows it's Robbie Fox for Callum Mills?
As I said, we don't know how bad the hamstring is, but to go, I know he's your captain, but when he came back, he wasn't amazing. Brisbane's forward line, same as Geelong, you could argue with like one of the most explosive in the league. So who is he going to directly have to match up on? Or is he just going to be if he plays, he'd have to be the general, and that whether they slide your defense where he's just like the middleman and can just like facilitate, come over the top. Because if someone's even with him, they're leaving.
It's a great call because we sort of hide Dane Rampy's leg speed as it is. He always is the last defender, and credit to him, he always plays on whoever's playing out of the square full forward, whether it's Joe Danaher, Pat Dangerfield, Dustin Martin. He plays on all of them. Willie Rioli. So because we hide his leg speed a little and just his footy smarts being the last, you'd think Tom McCartan will probably go to Joe Danaher or Hipwood if Danaher has to play in the ruck, which he probably will.
Yeah,
Malikan, he might play on Hipwood, try and free up
100%.
McCartan. But then all of a sudden, if you're carrying Malikan, McCartan, Rampy, who, I wouldn't say are the fastest blokes on earth, then you've got Mills in the side, and they're going to play Bailey, Rayner, Lohman, Charlie Cameron. You're right, we do need the leg speed, but we've always got Jake Lloyd, we've got Braden Campbell, who have sort of done. We know Jake Lloyd's played back pocket forever. Braden Campbell sort of did his apprenticeship like we always do at the Swans. He played back pocket for 2 or 3 years, so he can go back there and do a job for us maybe on Lohman. So I know the Swans guys are going to mess with his. Mills just plays, and he's a general off halfback. He loves getting himself loose. Maybe he goes up to a wing. Maybe he's on ball a bit more. He comes up as the sweeper, and he lets Mills and Heeney run forward, and he covers them defensively. So, he lets Warner and Heeney run forward and covers them. Yeah. He just plays if he's fit, I think, but they will not. If he's not right, they won't take the risk.
If he's 80%, though, you're taking someone in the side like Robbie Fox. So you can almost put him to anyone on that defense. So you can put him to anyone. Surely that's I know, take the captain hat off, or exactly what he is to the club.
Yeah.
If there's a question mark at all on Mills, I just don't think you can play him. Can you imagine if he just gets caught out once or twice, the hammy goes, and then you're down to the sub? Why Robbie Fox? Well, maybe Robbie Fox is the sub. I know you just anticipate you got someone coming in off the back line, but just the fact that he can just lock down anyone. He's your neutralizer. It's all right, who are we going to play? If
he could nearly play on Charlie Cameron for the night. He's that sort of player.
Just put that magnet on there. Why Mills would... It feels like more zone defense. Why you put Robbie Fox into he's going to be the exterminator. So I think you should go in unchanged, to be honest.
Yeah, it makes me scared because then if Mills does play, maybe Braden Campbell goes back to the sub, and I sort of want him to play
Braden
now.
Campbell,
but
he has to play. His confidence, the way that he's playing,
he's through the roof. Yeah,
as I said before, that defensive ball where he's loose and you guys come in, 1-2 handball, he's like a punter in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's legit. He's trying to get as much hang time on it as he can up in the air so you guys can get more numbers back. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So
it's gonna be interesting. Me and Morgs missed him by about 10 minutes. He did a full training session on Saturday near the SCG where they train. Yeah, Mills. And then they said we've got main training Wednesday and he's gonna be training Hammer and Tong apparently. And he has to get through. So,
look, I hope he gets up. He's a fucking captain. Obviously did the shoulder. It'd be awesome for him. Did he play in the 2012?
Yeah. Not 2012. Not grand final. 2022 he played,
2022, sorry.
Yeah, he played. And then, we'll see, hey. Anything else? Warner played well. Goulden played well.
That's pretty much it.
Blakey's a star, man. Watching Blakey live is...
How tall is he? He looks tall,
and he can just... He's got the quickest feet. He can be third man up on anything.
He's a dancer.
On anything, he just covers ground. Oh, and he's tough as. He's quick. He's so good to watch. Absolutely love him. So the Swans win. Let's get into some odds, Das.
Yeah, so you get I've got him screenshot on my phone.
Do you want goals or disposals first?
Oh, it doesn't matter. So Swans head-to-head were obviously $1.34.
That was free money.
Let's go goals.
Amadi for 3.
Amadi for 3 was $6.
That's nice. Papley for 3.
Yeah,
You
it was
got the odds boost.
$3.45, but we got the odds boost at $5.53. Thank you very much. Obviously, gamble responsibly.
Our man Willie McCormack, he had 250 on Papley to kick 3. What do you win? $1,200. He sent us straight away. He goes, "Cheers, boys." Oh, good on you, Willie. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
Heeney
unbelievable.
for 2, Das.
Heeney for 2 was $2.35.
McDonald and Warner for 2.
McDonald $2.65, Warner $2.45. By the way, we have to go back. We should be writing. You know when we're doing our little predictions for the next week, how we just put our betting hat on? We've been spot on. I'm sorry. It's like we had last week. We said Heeney obviously had 30 and 3, and we're like, let's just put our punting hat on. It's his 200th. Let's just take it down 10 and a goal. He's having 20 and 2. That's exactly what he's having. Fuck, bang on. Any more goals?
Rosie kicked 2.
Rosie. Connor Rosie. He was $8.
That's nice. And then there's a few Port Adelaide singles if you want to get into singles, like Boat kicked 1, Burton kicked 1, Burgoyne kicked 1.
Boak had one of the all-time bad games.
He had 22 and 1. He was the 3rd highest AFL ratings player on the ground.
He had 20...
AFL ratings champion data don't track leg speed, do they?
No. He had 18 turnovers. $3.70 for Travie Boak.
Burgoyne.
Can't get Burton. Burgoyne was $3.70. Ollie Wines was $3.80.
He kicked 0 goals, 3 wines. Jake Lloyd kicked 1.
Jake Lloyd? No, I don't think you get him.
And then disposals.
$3.75.
There's no real money in disposals. Errol Laddie's 25. Florent had 20. I think he was about $2 for 20 because his line was 18 and a half, and I gobbled the over.
Yeah, nice. Hey, what who'd you say so for 20? Ollie Florent, $2.18.
Yep, and that's really.
Hey, what did Braden Campbell have? Remember I said earlier if he's not the sub, his line was 13 and a half.
That's right. Braden Campbell had 8. So he had 9 touches coming on in one quarter against the Giants. Then he played a full game and he had 8. Maybe he will be the sub.
Oh, I think I like him in the side though.
Maybe but if he's the sub,
MCG, because the MCG is big, you guys are going to have to stretch the field and push. I just think having him
a dangerous leg.
Again with the Mills thing, however good his hammy is, if you need to switch the ball and you guys are trying to come from right to left hand side and move it. Think how if someone's a little bit sore, so they're trying to run, then kick. Braden Campbell takes 2-3 steps and it's gone.
Yeah.
Bye. See ya. It's over the other side of the ground. I also
think he's the perfect blanket if he is the sub. If Callum Mills was to do a little twang, or even at halftime, if Mills' running numbers aren't that great, it's just Mills off, Campbell on, brings the juice. But yeah, we'll see. I actually really don't know. Does Port Adelaide? Does Ken Hinkley coach Port Adelaide next year?
I don't think so. How many more? What do they say? It's 10 years in coaching. How long do you want to stay at a job for, Jev, before you move? What about a house? It's always good. I just think change is good. You got to freshen it up. How many times can you beat a dead horse? Then you go back to another preseason. Boys, this is the game plan. This is this, yada, yada, yada. This is the same thing. I just think a fresh voice, especially if it's not working and you're not moving magnets and other players are just still in the same position. I don't know. I'm big on change. Not as much as Carlton do, every 2 years. But I think definitely stick with someone. If you can stick with him 8 to 10 years, that's what he's been. You've been to prelims. It's great. I'm massive on a new voice. Unless the players are all for him and they all put their hand up and say, yep, we want him. Bye-bye.
One thing Joey Montagna said to us the other day, he said, the coach from the bench have no idea what they're doing. They're your Monday to Friday relationship coaches. Coaches that coach in the box are your tactical coaches and stuff. Maybe all Port Adelaide need is they've obviously got the relationships, they've got the team, they play well every year. get the emotion out of Ken a bit and get a guy that sits up in the box and is a bit better game day, analytically, moves on game day, can see the game unfolding. Maybe that's all Port Adelaide need, is the change of voice where it's a more game day coach. And then he goes, you look at Vossi, you look at Chris Fagan, they do bugger all game day.
No.
Fags just chews that gum, just sits there chewing that gum.
Fags is like Mike McCarthy the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Who's their play caller?
It was
for the Cowboys. What's his name? He was like doing all of that. Yeah, and Fags legit just stands there. He's like, hey, what are we doing? He's just like, it's unbelievable. But great win by the Showies, Jev. We'll get into a little bit more about your trip after, but
let's get into the next game.
Last night's game, Jev.
An all-time prelim final. I can't wait to rewatch it. The Lions end up winning by 10 points. I swear the lead changed. 1, 2, I think it was like 3 or 4 times in the last quarter. Throughout the game and the second half, it was just unbelievable. The Cats were up by 19 points at halftime. The Lions win by 10. It was the perfect game of football.
Yeah,
perfect game of football. Talk to me.
So the first quarter was a genuine arm wrestle. I don't think we got a goal for the first 12 minutes. It was just lock in, boys. It was just this, Jeff, just trying to work. So they were going. The Cats missed a lot of chances. I know Brisbane did as well. That's what Brisbane do. Zach Bailey, it felt like he had like 5 shots on goal, like running in, and he just kept spraying them. I think Bailey said last night he kicked 2 goals, 11. But Joey Montagna said it perfectly. He's like, they're not going to tag Zorko. He had 11 touches in the first quarter, and you could really notice it. Jeremy Cameron just started like a house on fire as well, really got involved. I thought Grind Myers in the first half, he had 2 goals, 10 touches, 2 goals, 10 touches, and a couple of goal assists. It was one of the best games from him that I've ever seen. I think he was the highest rated player at halftime. Yeah. He was in absolutely everything. He was tackling, pure forward pressure, and they just got on top. Sean Manor was thereabouts. Everyone was getting involved. Dempsey, Myers kicked that freak goal. And
he had just thought that dribble assist and that freak goal in this. Yeah.
Oh. And then Ollie Henry came to the party and kicked a few goals. He's probably had a pretty average year. He's got so much talent. When he was at the Pies, I used to watch him smack the Blues every week. So you know what he can do. And then the run from Brisbane just started to come through. McCluggage started to run a little bit more. Zorko was quiet in the second quarter, started to come back. Logan Morris was really starting to push up, like only the 2 goals, 6 touches, but he was trying to be a bit of a target. Cameron was trying to get involved. Kyle Lohman felt like he was in absolutely everything. But the moment that it shifted was when Max Holmes went down.
Yep.
Him and Danger in the midfield, when those two are rolling, the amount of times Danger just walks out of a stoppage, it's unbelievable. But as soon as, you look over at the bench, he's down. Max Holmes is getting a rub. Now at the time, it's like 10 minutes, 12 minutes. He's trying to run on it. You can see him on the phone, and Chris Scott tries to go back out there, and they just lost that run. And then Brisbane just went. Cam Rayner was nowhere to be seen the first half. Started kicking goals. Zach Guthrie, Jeff, solidifies himself as one of the all-time finals players by getting 18 touches in this game. We had him for 15 at $1.20. But so good. Ashcroft was clean. Jasper Fletcher was good. Oh, I just want to go back and watch the last quarter because there's so many moments. The Eric Hipwood fend off, Jev, we will never forget. We will never forget that Rayner goal. Awesome.
The Tom Stewart tackle on Zach Bailey at centre-half back, and then they took it end-to-end and hit the front with that Ollie Henry snap, and you're like, oh, my God, Tom Stewart's just won on a prelim. Then the next contest, they get an inside 50. Cam Archie kicks it. They got the lead back again. The whole last quarter was just moments. Jeremy Cameron missed 2 in the last quarter to us. So he took that mark on 50, took the responsibility, went back, missed. Then he had a right foot snap that he just kicked along the ground and missed. And you're like, so many little parts here and there.
Stengel missed everything.
Stengel had a stinker. He had a list of Bloom ready to go.
Stengel.
Oh, God. Tell you what I noticed about the Lions. I've noticed it 2 weeks in a row, and it terrifies me. When they're losing, they just lengthen and spread the ground, and then they just start biting off kicks in the corridor. They
Yeah.
just go for 60-meter chiselers that just open it up. And all of a sudden, they'll hit this chiseler to anyone. Bang, handball to Ashcroft, handball to Hugh McCluggage, and they're kicking into one-on-ones in the forward line. Like, they just take it on. It's like, so Joe Danaher's had a quiet one. Oscar McInerney's done, and they've still won because when the ball's in transition, when guys like Dane Zorko get their hands on it, it's money. Like, they just go for it. They got some nice kicks in that side. Cam Rain had 4 touches at halftime, Das, and was getting roasted at the pub, in group chats. Who is this
Everywhere.
bloke?
Around
Then he had
Australia.
14, 2 goals, 2, a hanger. He had an all-time second half. Like moments, like a big second half in a prelim.
If you're a roast listener, how many times have we said it that he's the best but most frustrating player to support? This is what he can do.
Yeah.
Like all the time. Like he went on that stretch where he made the pyramid and it's like he's kicking 2 or 3 a game. He's like, this is him.
Yeah.
And then he just goes missing. I don't know what you have to do. Where's the position he has to start? Does he have to start on ball? Is he a player that like he has to start high half forward, push into the stoppage and just get some body early?
Burst out.
What does he have to do? Do you have to, when he's in the forward line, playing back shoulder and just kick it on someone's head so he can try and take a hanger? What do you have to do to get him involved in the game? Because once he gets going, he's got every attribute. Yeah. He's quick. He can kick it a mile. He can outmark you. He can wrestle you. He was so Connor McKenna coming on was actually an awesome sub.
Yeah.
He was an awesome sub. But Tom Stewart, I thought, Jeff, had such a good game. I know he got outmarked once or twice, but he's so tough.
How? He is the perfect footballer's body.
Yeah.
He's a brick fucking shithouse.
And danger.
Like this. He's lean. He's got the big quads, the big butt, and he just crunches blokes. He's the perfect tackler, perfect marker. Talk about just a raw athlete. He looks like the perfect footballer. If you're on AI and you say, draw me up the perfect footballer, they draw Tom Stewart, basically.
Yeah, it's a big, tough defender from local. Like
he's going to go down as an all-time Cats player. Tom Hawkins is done. Like, he announced his retirement, didn't get picked.
He would have played next week.
You were positive on it.
Shannon Neal had a shocker. He had a shot. I guarantee. I just think with the matchup, even just the magnet there. So let's say it's Geelong versus Cats. Who goes to him? Malikan?
To Hawkins. Yeah, probably Malikan.
So if Hawkins is just fit enough, so he doesn't really have to run on defend as much, and they just keep him in the cage, that's a pretty good matchup for Geelong. It's like,
sure.
We won't let Malikan run off as much, and we'll just try and out-wrestle him.
And isolate him. Yeah, 100%.
I think that's the matchup because Shannon Neal, they're like, don't worry about it. But just having Hawkins there and knowing what he's done, it's a bit of a mind fuck. It might not pay off, but I think he would have come into the side if he was ready. Brad Close had a good game. Mitch Duncan is the sub, Jev. I know I joked about it in a video, but Zach Tui getting dropped. I just think that, you know how slow Duncan was to get that boot to ball? Zach Tui's kicking
down
that
by
goal.
Jackson Payne. Yeah.
Zach Tui's kicking that goal, Jev.
Yeah. It's especially like, I don't know. I know we love leg speed as the sub, but they didn't have Guthrie, Tui, or Duncan or Hawkins in that side. If you had a little bit more experience when you kick 7 goals in the second quarter, all of a sudden your experience at the start of the third quarter may not let Brisbane ever back into it. But then again, Brisbane may have just exposed them for leg speed as well. Yeah. And they didn't want to cover it. I know Chris Scott said something in his press conference. I haven't actually watched it about like, we'll never know about selection. We'll just never know. It's just going to be an unthinked question. So,
what hurts? You just think how close it is to win a premiership. Like the Cats probably felt they had that one. And I think that they would be very confident if they won that coming into next week. I think Brisbane feel confident. I think you feel confident. I think everyone feels confident. Everyone's had really good hit outs. And if you bring your best, you can win it. Yeah. Same as the Giants. The Giants, like, if we dogged it in the first final. We should have been playing a home prelim against Port.
Yeah.
And then make the Swans go the other way.
Yeah. And the Giants would feel sick because they would straight up go, we beat both of these teams, Swans and Brisbane. We had them both beat, and now they're playing in a grand final, and we're fucking in Bali.
And then you've got Geelong that they smack Port, and then they've been at home the whole time. They win yesterday. They were up by a couple goals, 19 points, as you said. week off, go back to the farm, milk the cows,
Yeah.
get the eggs from the chickens, kick the goals. It's
I'll
just
tell you what. So, like, I'm super confident in the Swans next week. I'm just looking into just say Brisbane lose a heartbreaker next week. Looking into the future. The future is not bleak at Brisbane at all. They get
No, it is
four
not.
guys back from the ACL. They get Kitty Coleman, Dobe. Who else did their ACL?
High flyer, Lincoln McCarthy.
Lincoln McCarthy, and I think there's one more.
Yeah, there is
They're
one
going to
more.
get that Levi Ashcroft, who just had 27-3 in the NAB Cup Grand Final. Will Ashcroft with another preseason. Lockie Neal gets his body right in the offseason. Oscar McInerney comes back after surgery and everything. They're going to be fine next year, the Lions Stars. They're going to be absolutely fine.
You look at guys like another father-son they've got in. I don't think we talk about him enough, but Jasper Fletcher is he's a 250 game player. He moves really well. He makes right decisions. He's just a good defender. Like he'll take over from like Leicester in that spot. Who else did we mention? Like Darcy Wilmot. He's just a sandy boy. He got picked up. Like they card him out there. Last year, the year before? Give him the number 44.
Just run around. Yeah,
he'll probably play a couple games. Huge part of this side.
Took a big mark on Tom Stewart in the middle of the ground. Remember, he was just lying on him in the middle of the ground. Oh God.
It's interesting. So it'll come out the Joe interview, but I asked him, how would you build a side like? And he's like midfield first, almost like a Giants model. That's the model that he really likes. If you're Brisbane, let's say Fagan goes, do you then continue if you're another coach coming in, bar Chris Scott, because he'd have his own philosophy? Do you almost keep it the same? So say Zorko goes out of the side, like eventually retires. Do you then just almost appoint someone, like you always want that designated kicker?
Yeah.
Like you always want that role. Because I feel with the way that they play, especially so many games on the Gabba, it's real fast footy. They just piece up sides. I feel if you're playing up there, you almost need that. Like so many, like Carlton don't have that. A lot of teams don't have that. But I just feel I love that sort of player in a side. A guy that you can give the ball to, they're the quarterback, and they're just going to be like, if we have to, let's go. Let's just bite off as many kicks as we can. Yeah. I love his role watching in the side.
You see how badly he tries to get the ball in his hands. Like if a big player takes a mark, he'll wrap around, do anything to get a handball receive, and then he just takes one off in the corridor. He's a beautiful kick of the footy. Hugh McCluggage is a good kick. It's going to be a great game next week, Dust. It's the first grand final without a Victorian side since Swans West Coast 2006.
Jeff, this is the ultimate Victorian grand final, Jeff. This is South Melbourne Fitzroy.
Yes, absolutely. 1899. It was 3 goals to 2 goals or something.
Hey, this isn't an interstate grand final, Jeff. This is an old school Melbourne grand final, and that's what I'll be preaching all week. Victorians win, South Melbourne, Fitzroy. Come on.
There's going to be some old school supporters there. I've already got our man Hamish. He's a massive 100K listener, and he DMs us all the time. He's already hooked me up with the ticket dust. I've got 1 ticket already. I can't believe it. Speak to my old man today. Hopefully we get a couple of tickets with our Swans membership and stuff. If anyone's listening, they know how to get tickets. We're willing to pay. We want to be there. Can't the Swans. Dust, I want to talk to you about my weekend and what fucking has been going on. So,
do you want to do odds first? Or do you want to leave it?
Odds. I've got the screenshots here. You give me. So I have first goal scorer was Charlie Cameron, 13-1. I've got 15 disposals for the Lions.
15. Is that it?
No, I've got everything. I've just go Lions disposals.
Lions disposals go Zorko 30, Neil 30.
Zorko for 30 was 10-1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Neil.
How do you get 10 to? No, I think he was. No, he was 345 for 30. 345 for 30. Neil was 335 as well.
Yep. McCluggage for 25 and Dunkley for 25. They had 28 and 27.
McCluggage for 25 was $2. Dunkley was $2 as well.
And Darcy Wilmot for 20.
Darcy Wilmot, your boy. Let me find his name. He was $2.40. He got paid off the Lions.
Here's a couple for 20. Answorth for 20, Berry for 20, and Leicester for 20.
Berry was $2.05.
Tick.
Answorth was $10.50 for 20.
That is an absolute...
And who was the other one?
Leicester.
$10.50 as well. You would have got 100 to 1 if you had Answorth into Leicester for 20.
How good's that?
Geelong disposals.
Yeah, let's go. Dangerfield only had 24, so 20 touches.
20 was $1.47. Remember his line was 22.5. Said it was the best bet of the fucking week, and he hit that.
Tom Stewart for 22.
Tom Stewart, what a player. I can't find him. No, I don't know, Morgs. Oh, Tom Stewart for 20 was $1.30.
Holmes and Myers for 20, that's it.
$1.26 for Holmes. Everyone was thanking him. He was on 18 touches when he did his hammy. He went back on, got his 2 touches, then got subbed off.
All I can say, the only silver lining that the Cats lost is that they didn't have to do that again with his hamstring.
Without playing him, yep.
That would be solid. We all felt sick for him. It's just like, you see him on the beat, you see his face, he's like, not again.
He's sort of like, have I done it? Like, he's just questioning himself. Go Lions goal kickers, Das.
Yeah, Lions goal kickers, let's go. Callum Archie, the sneeze. Archie.
For 2?
3.
3 was 14 to 1. 2 was 480. That's a 100K bet next week. He kicks 2 every week.
When he kicked that goal, we both looked at each other. We're like, this is what he does. He kicked those goals against the Swans late at the Gabba.
Exact same goal.
He just comes on. That one where, who ran through fucking Cameron? Who ran through Jeremy Cameron? Was it Stewart? Henry. Henry ran through Cameron. Ball went to ground. Like, I literally bounced for a second. Archie picked it up, snap goal. Like, It was so quick. So quick. Zach Bailey kicked 2. Cam Rayner kicked 2.
$3.50 for Zach Bailey. $3.30 for Cam Rayner.
Charlie Cameron for 2 and Logan Morris for 2.
$1.98 for Charlie Cameron. Logan Morris, you got $3.60. Geez, you could have got paid if you just took the Lions players for 2.
And Cats goals. Ollie Henry for 4. What's that? $13?
14 to 1. That's nice.
Nice. Cameron for 2 goals 3.
$1.36 he was for 2. That's unbelievable.
Wait, his over under was 16.5. I said over. Best bet.
What do you have? 17.
Yeah, perfect. Grind Myers kicked 2 as well.
Grind Myers was $5.57 for 2.
And just give us danger.
$2.30 for 1.
Yeah, you said that. That
was
awesome.
a great bet.
That's pretty much it. So yeah, tell us about the Swans.
Yeah, so
tell us about your weekend.
It's been a fucking weekend. So 4 a.m. Friday morning, I picked Morgs up. We were on a 6 a.m. flight to 6:30 a.m. flight to Sydney. Picked Morgs up 4 o'clock. Flew to Sydney. We were there by bloody 8 o'clock in the morning. We rented a car. We went to Bondi for breakfast. We had a look at the beach. We went to the SCG. I saw the Swans' new training facilities. Went to the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge for a couple of beers. We just saw Sydney. It was 25 and sunny. It was bloody beautiful, dust. Got into the piss. Finally got to 2 o'clock. We checked into our room. We basically stayed at the airport because we were on an early flight out of there. Then all my Swans guys, the True Bloods boys, Matt Donnelly, the Facebook man, they said Bat and Ball pub. It was just a Swansfield pub. We started getting into more piss. Walked over to the SCG together. Everyone walked over. Watched us win. We were unbelievable. Went for a couple of beers after. We tried to go back to the Bat and Ball. Too busy to get back in. Went to another pub. We're having a couple. We looked at the time, me and Morgs. It was midnight. We're like, what time's our flight, Morgs, tomorrow? It's like 6 a.m. So we had to get up at 4:30 again. It was at midnight, so we got to sleep about 12:30. 4:30, the alarm hit like your stepdad. It hit hard. It hit us hard. So then we got up at 4:30. Straight, we walked to the airport, got on the flight at 6 o'clock, got home, back to Melbourne, drove home, was home by 9:30. My local footy club was playing in their grand final. I had a shower. I was straight out the door to Sandy, to Trevor Barker. Watched my local team play. They won the grand final. Got home again, straight to the DI to watch the prelim.
Awesome.
Then after the prelim, went and celebrated with the local footy team till about 11 last night. Woke up, it's currently 9:30 now. I've got Silly Sunday this morning, Das, at 11 in an hour and a half. I'm dressing up as Taylor Adams, Das. Played all year, dropped for the finals. I got dropped from my local footy team, so I'm dressing up as Taylor Adams. So I want to watch the Swans replay so bad. I haven't had time to scratch my ass. I want to rewatch Geelong, Brisbane as well. I have not had time. And so now we're finishing this. I'm getting ready, going straight back and drinking piss all day on Silly Sunday. We'll try and get some more stuff up over the weekend on the 100K soon. But It's been an all-timer, but I'm so tired and not ready to drink again. You can probably hear in my voice. I am buggered, but it's been a good weekend. Sydney is a must-do.
Yeah, go for a few hours and then just sort of mosey on home, get the replay in. What we're going to look forward to, though, this week, Jev, I'm going to try and get a ticket. I really want to come to the grand final with you. I think that'd be awesome. So we're going to try, if we can, go to the parade. We got the Friday off.
Yeah.
Try and go there. I don't know, film some stuff. If there's any funny stuff we can do. Just be there. As you said, who knows? We might want to stay in the city on the Friday, play it by. If so, go play the tables.
Have a look at blackjack.
Have a look at the tables. Have a look. Let's see what we can do. Ideally, and then we've got breakfast Saturday morning, grand final.
Dan Gorringe's breakfast.
We're going to that.
We got invited to, so we're going to go to that.
Going to go to that. And
I'm going to the granny.
Hopefully, go to the granny. It's going to be, I checked the weather, 21 and sunny. So
it's going to be so naughty. Afterwards, we'll have a couple of beers. It's going to be a good fun dance.
Monday off.
Norm Smith, give me a Norm Smith from each team and a Smokey to look out for. My Smokey right now would be Brodie Grundy. He's had that week off. He's fit. Oscar McInerney's just gone down. Could he absolutely dominate grand final day?
So, Smokey first?
Yeah, whoever you want.
Oh, God. It's not even really a Smokey, but the small forwards pop out, Jev. Papley. Kicking him or Lohman. Lohman just looks like, I think he had his shot last week.
I would think Zach Bailey. So you sort of man up on Charlie Cameron, then Cam Rayner, then Lohman, and is Bailey the forgotten one? Remember he kicked those 2 all-timers against the Pies last year in the grand final?
I would love to see Papley, though, on grand final day.
We have to have a sprinkle on Papley. And then I'm on Isaac Heeney because it's silly not to bet on him right now. The form is unbelievable. So I'm on Heeney. If it's not Heeney, I would look at, if they put too much time into Heeney and you let Warner run around, he's going to kick 2 and have 25. And then my absolute left of centre would be maybe Florent, maybe Blakey, one of these guys. Could Joel Amati do a job on Harris Andrews? And, he sort of plays loose. He tries to tag him everywhere. Then he kicks 3 or 4 on him. We'll see.
Well, if we're ranking, where's the Norm Smith? Here we go. So you're ranking the best players on the ground, Jev.
Yep.
Number 1, clear.
Isaac Heeney.
2?
A fit Lockie Neal.
Yep. Say fit. Yep. 2, 3.
Probably Chad Warner.
Yep. 4.
Probably Errol, but you can say Hugh McCluggage. You can say Will Ashcroft's form right now.
Well, so if we keep going down, you just found your money pick, Jev. So you got your first 5 right. Heeney's favourite, $5 for Norm. Lockie Neal second at 7. Warner at 8. Goulden at 9. Zorko at 13.
Yep.
McCluggage. Where's our man, Jev? Where's Will Ashcroft? He's all the way down. He's at $26.
That's the bet right now.
There is your value pick.
He's their best midfielder right now. Dunkley and Berry play on somebody. Neal's banged up. Zorko plays off half back. Ashcroft's their legs, their explosion. He's the one. 26 to 1 dust. That's worth the sprinkle right now.
Before we go, because I know you have to go, we wanted to make a list of how important a player is to a team. When the Hawks weren't winning, Will Day was in the side. He comes back in, how much better they are. There was 1 or 2 others that we had. But how important...
Tom Stewart.
If you look at Brisbane season, how good they were last year, and then Will Ashcroft did his ACL, and then you pretty much get 12 months. So that back end of the year, they just didn't have Will Ashcroft.
Yeah.
Then the first half of the year, they didn't have him for where they did the year before. Insert him, and now they've got him for the back end of the year. How important has he been to their side? What he does in the midfield. So what Dacos does in stoppage, he loves to flick it. He's real quick. Ashcroft takes on a tackle.
Yeah.
Wants contact, 1 or 2, and gives these little awkward handballs, and they just pop out straight to a player every time.
And you can see in the 12 months off, as much as it would have sucked, it's like he skipped a year of preseason and he put all that size on in his butt and his legs that might take players, because they pull up so sore, might take a guy like, say our man Harvey Johnson. He's a pretty lean guy. It's going to take him 2 or 3 pre-seasons of weights and training, and to sort of get that bigger butt and those bigger legs as he grows up, because he's always training and always playing. He had that 12 months off where he couldn't play footy. So he's in the gym doing his rehab, strengthening his legs, fixing his knee. Then he got back into footy. It's like he skipped a year of...
He looks like he's done so many push-pull, like
in his
just
development. Now he's got the
thick.
big butt. He's got the lean abs, the wide shoulders. He's got a great footy body. He is going to be a good player for a long time. His brother's going to come in the side, and he's not... It's going to be like the Dacos brothers. He's not going to be allowed to skip any steps and be a young guy. It's like, nah, you train with me and you don't fuck around, and you're a professional footballer from day one. So...
yeah, they both seem like it. So 26-1, that's a good one. Cam Rayner, Jep. Same thing, $34 for Norm Smith.
I think Ollie Florent will play on him, but yeah, that is what he's the sort of guy he could kick 5.
Luke Parker, $51.
Could he pop out the back for 5? He'd have 10 kicks, 5 goals. He might do the job on Harris Andrews' Das.
I'm telling you, he's kicking the first.
Luke Parker's kicking the first. He's kicked
how
it before in a grand final, hasn't he?
And I had him in the sweep. Like he always kicks a goal in a grand final. Like that is my lock. Like,
Let's go. Luke Parker
kicks
first
a
goal. Love it.
First half goal or first quarter goal. We'll leave you there because I know you got to go. Awesome roast. We've only got one more to go.
One more to go. Can't wait. Next Sunday, grand final roast. I cannot wait. Can it be a Swans premiership task? Come on, the showies.
I think it will be. I think it will be. Let's go.
See you, mate.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.